Let's start then. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Gita 8th chapter we are doing, right?
Yes, Swami.
Prayana, Kali, etc. we finished. We saw the 11th verse last time?
13 verses.
13th also we did? Good. Okay.
We did it up to 13, Swami.
Okay. Okay. So we saw the contemplative way of giving up the body, etc. Okay. It is not as simple as it sounds. Okay. You have to have certain mastery over the pranas for that. Okay. There are special practices for that. If anyone wants to learn that, come to me one-on-one, okay? Of how to leave your body and go. Okay. Yeah. One-on-one I'll teach those things. It's not to be taught in a group, okay? Yeah. Okay. So that is what the 13th verse was. Okay. All right. Then he is giving you an easier way, okay? He is giving you an easier way for moksha. Okay. What is that? Ananya chetaha satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabhav partha nityayuktasya yoginah. Okay. He says, Ananya chetaha satatam. Ananya chetaha. This very often is a subject of misinterpretation. People say, think of Krishna and nothing else. No. That is not Ananya chetaha. Think of yourself as non-different from Ishvara. That means what? Work on this knowledge, on this Advaita Jnanam. Work on that. Okay? Work on getting clarity in the knowledge, owning up the knowledge. That is Ananya Chetaha. When I recognize that as consciousness, I and the Lord are one and the same. In my functioning, I may be different. I may be doing a small thing. Ishvara has all knowledge, all power, etc. I may be a small guy. That's okay. As consciousness, one and the same. That is Ananya Chetaha here, okay? Not anything else. Yomam smariti nityashaha. In that manner who remembers me, tasyaham sulabhav partha. For him, I am easy to attain. In fact, what is the question of easy or difficult? You have attained. It's a question of cognition. Therefore, there is nothing easy or difficult. How easy it is to or difficult it is to see this pen in my hand? Can you say it's easy or difficult? If I tell you all, come with me, we'll go to Gomukh. Okay. Uttarakhand cases have dropped a lot. And Gomukh and all, there are no cases. Then those who are fit will say, that is easy. Those who are not fit will say that is difficult. Because it's something to be done. See, this is a pen. Can you really say easy or difficult? Some of you can say, because of the glare of the light, I am not seeing it clearly. That may happen. But it is not a question of easy or difficult. Jnanam, always sulabham. It's easy. Why? Because You just have to use a means of knowledge, you get it. And in Vedanta, the means of knowledge comes from an external source. So the teacher does all the work. Therefore, Ati Sulabham, he says, Partha Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha, such a yogin, such a karma yogin, Nitya Yuktaha, he says, always with the knowledge. Where are you away from the knowledge? This gives you the guarantee of knowledge and moksha much more than thinking of this at the time of death and sitting down, contemplating, leaving the body like that. If you have a headache, can you sit and meditate? You should be. Why not? If you have a stomach ache. But you find it difficult. Forget headache, stomach ache. If your ankle is paining, it's only an ankle pain. No? You're sitting down. If you're standing up, I can understand. But you're sitting down. Then imagine what happens when your body is struggling for breath and things like that. Because there is a conflict between your prarabdha, leaving, time up, leave, and the organism's innate desire for survival. The conflict between the two always happening. Unless you have learned to overcome certain survival instincts, etc., then your passing away can be effortless. But most of us have not learned to overcome that. Yeah. It's okay, you don't have to. Focus on the knowledge. That's why the marga is Jnana Yoga here. Jnana Marga. Okay, yeah. Jnana Marga. Work on the clarity. The greater clarity you have, the greater you make it a part of your life, the simpler life is. More joyful the life is. In spite of all problems that you are going through. Problems are not going to change. Problems will remain the same, okay? Just because you know the truth doesn't mean epidemic is going to come to an end. That's not going to happen. This is a nice, interesting story about this. Buddha declared his student Ananda is a wise person. The Buddhist declaration is, the flowers have showered for him. Meaning the gods have dropped flowers on him. Because he is a wise person now. So now that's always inspiring for the students, because one of us have done it, One of us have done it. So they all rush to Ananda and said, Ananda, now that you are a wise person, how do you find the world? Ananda opened his eyes, looked around and said, as miserable as ever. I think the world is not going to change. Yeah. So, that is not going to change. That is going to remain the same. World is not going to change. Okay? World will remain the same. You will grow out of it. Yeah. Therefore, Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha, this is what you have to do. Live a life of Karma Yoga. If you are desireful enough and the circumstances in your life can be managed, want to take up sannyasa? Fine. Otherwise, Karma Yoga. Sannyasa is optional. Karma Yoga is mandatory. Okay? Sannyasa is always optional. Karma Yoga is mandatory. Live a life of Karma Yoga. Work on the clarity of the knowledge and you are free. Okay? Yeah. Then, what is this reaching me, etc.? He clarifies, okay? Because when you say reaching me, you can wonder, what do you mean by reaching me? Which me are you talking about? These are the areas of confusion that people create. Krishna is very clear. Okay? They'll say, no, Vaikuntha. No, Golok Vrindavan. This is another new one that has come up. Okay. The Shastra talks about 7 higher dimensions. So what you call Vaikuntha, this thing, what you call Shivaloka, etc., is Brahmaloka alone. Because all of them are described as no return. So Brahmaloka alone. Okay, depending upon your devotion, your experience will be similar to how you have been worshipping. So now there is the new one that has come about is Golok Vrindavan. From where such terms come up, God knows. Yeah, it is there. Higher than all lokas, Golok Vrindavan. Yeah. If you go to Vrindavan and all, you will find a lot of people talking like this. It is bhakti fueling their talk. I respect the bhakti, but I don't respect their understanding. Bhakti I respect. Yeah. And when your bhakti is a little bit extreme, you cannot take a joke in your stride, you know. Like years ago, I went to Vrindavan. Many years ago. So, a Panda was taking the group around and said, here Krishna was standing, here Radha was looking at him, here the Ras Leela was going on. And he was describing it very vividly. And this was before I had even started teaching. Okay, so as a young man, there's a lot of mischief in me. I said, Pandit ji, ये सब देखने के लिए आप कहाँ खड़ा था? He got angry, naturally. He got angry and upset. आपको कोई श्रद्धा नहीं है, आप जरूर वेदांती होगे, on top of it. So after we came back, one of the people in the group asked me, Swamiji, what would you have said if that question had been thrown at you? I said, no problems, Baba. Do you see the branch of that old tree there? मैं तो एक पक्षी बन के वो डाली पर बैठा हुआ था. वहां से देखा ये सब. ये सब पूर्व जन्म के स्मृति है. You can. See, the question is a joke, the answer can be another joke. It's not some great discussion. Yeah. But 7 dimensions, okay? Yeah, therefore, is this talk about going to some dimension because you recognize your identity with Krishna, etc.? No, that's not what you're talking about. Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam na punvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gata. Okay. He says, Mam upetya, having gained me as the consciousness as Ishvara Bhagavan, okay, as Brahman itself, then what? Punarjanma, another birth, which is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. All birth is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Tell me which life doesn't have sorrow in it. Which life doesn't have sorrow? Ashashvatam. Impermanent. Can you really predict whether you will be there for the next 5 minutes? Can you all say that one breath I have taken out is gone out? Exhalation has happened. Before I can inhale, I am gone. Can happen. It can happen, why not? Anyway, the yogis count your prarabdha by the number of breaths. One breath gone out. Another breath has not come in yet. Yama calls, beta, time up. Haji, aa raha ho. Gone. How can you guarantee? Ashashvatam. You don't know. I had so many plans, I have so many things to do. Forget it. Forget it. You're gone. Ashashvatam. And when you live, are you living completely happy? You look at other people's lives and you think they are happy,
You're not getting?
Other people's life and you think you're all happy. But when you look at, ask them, they also have,
And they'll come automatically.
when you ask them, they all have their own,
It's all right, let us.
they have their own sorrows. Which life is there without a sorrow? There is not a single life where there is not some unwept sorrow. Even though there may not be a great tragedy in their lives, things are going smooth. Thank God. Fine. But the unwept sorrow is always there. The existential issue is always there. Isolation, loneliness, the existential grief, the sense of finitude, helplessness in certain situations. Yeah. All that is there. That doesn't change. Therefore, dukkhalayam ashashvatam na apnuvanti mahatmanaha. This Mahatman doesn't gain such a life again. Samsiddhim paramam gataha. The absolute siddhi they have achieved. Any achievement can be called a siddhi. If you can sing well, for example, it's a siddhi. Like Shaboni here, a great singer. It's a siddhi. Someone can do business well. It's a siddhi. Accomplishment. Someone is a good parent. It's an accomplishment. Okay. Someone sends up lots of funny mute messages. Some siddhi. It's a siddhi. What is the absolute siddhi then? Paramam siddhi. Mokshakyam. Because all these are finite in achievement. All these are finite. What is the infinite one? That which is free from all limits. That which is free from all limits, that is called samsiddhim, mokshakyam, called as moksha. He has achieved that. Then what happens to him after death? One with the limitless consciousness. One with the limitless consciousness. That's what he remains as. Okay. Ke samsiddhim paramam gata. Then he gives you another verse dealing with the same topic. Okay. Brahma bhuvanan lokaha punaravartino arjuna mamupeti tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Oops, sorry. Okay. Little bit I am delicately balancing my okay. Okay. Brahma bhuvanan lokan. Up to Brahmaloka. Now up to can mean up to leaving Brahmaloka out or up to including Brahmaloka. Both options are available when you say up to. Brahma bhuvanan lokan. Punaravartinaha Arjuna. Arjuna, they are all subject to coming back. Generally, the idea is if you go to Brahmaloka, you will not come back. Why? What will happen there? There, you can have a great time. And at the end of the Kalpa, there is another 20,000 years. So 20,000 years you are having a great time. बोर नहीं हो जाएगा क्या? Someone like me may get bored with that, okay? Anyway, 20,000. At the end of the Kalpa, because now Brahmaji is busy with the creation, because fresh creation is on. New planets are being formed, things are being happened, suns are being born. So the creation is still on. So at the end of the Kalpa, when Lord Shiva takes over, time for the big crunch, destruction has to start. And Brahmaloka will be among the last lokas to go, to be resolved into the consciousness. That time Brahmaji will teach you. Why? You will be such great student that Brahmavid was not enough for you. You need Brahmaji himself to come and make you understand. Therefore, Brahmaji will teach you and you will understand the whole truth there and gain moksha. But remember, thousands of years you have lived. Khao, piyo, maja karo. Okay. What is the guarantee that after living thousands of years that your mind will be fresh enough to understand it? Or you have picked up too much of sanskaras of enjoyment. You form some special attachments with some people there also. Because rules of earth are not applied there, okay? Then, if you don't understand, you'll come back again for the next cycle of creation, and again you'll have to learn. Again you'll have to learn. Yeah. So it's better to go to a loka and come back soon. If you don't got it in this lifetime, go to some other loka, come back soon. That means don't do too much of punya, okay? Don't worry, in Kali Yuga, nobody does that much of punya to go to Brahmaloka. Can't done. Can't. So much of yagas, this, that, etc. you cannot do in Kali Yuga. Nahi hota hai. Calls for too much. Calls for too much. A lifetime lived without committing any major sin. Mushkil hai. Mushkil hai. Very difficult. Nirantara Omkara Upasana. Difficult. All these are requirements for go to Brahmaloka, okay? Yeah. Not possible for a human being in Kali Yuga to do that. Okay? Yeah. But the option of learning is always there in Kali Yuga. Yeah. Moksha is easy in Kali Yuga. Why? Because when I say life is full of problems, people understand immediately. हाँ बराबर है. Means life means problems और क्या? Easy for people to understand that. And therefore, the mokshecha can be strong. Okay. That is why he says, Mam upeti tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Having come to me as pure consciousness, punarjanmaha na vidyate. There is no punarjanma for you. You remain as one consciousness alone. Limitless consciousness you remain. Ananda Sarupo home you live. You know, I never got this question in all my years of teaching. But one of my friends, batchmates, not batchmate, is 15 years my junior, Guru Bain, her sister told her one thing. Hey, I don't want moksha this lifetime. I want to enjoy for two or three more lifetimes, then I will come for moksha. So my question is, why do you want 2 or 3 more lifetimes in samsara? Because you want to enjoy. What do you mean you want to enjoy? You want to gain ananda, fulfillment. No? I am offering you fulfillment directly. Here it is. Take. Understand the Gita. Direct hai na, abhi bhi. Why do you want to postpone that? This is in Sanskrit, there's an expression. Pindam utsrijya karam leti. The character was given a nice rasgulla in his hand. प्रसाद था, मजा से खा लो, रसगुल्ला है. What does he do? He throws away the rasgulla and licks his hand. Sweet. When you say, I don't want moksha now, I will postpone it, this is exactly what you are doing. The fulfillment that you can gain right now, you are giving up for some small token joys here and there. Yeah. Because not understood what moksha is about. It's freedom from all your limitations. Discovering that you are nothing but Ananda Swarupa, that you are the complete fulfilled being. If you know that, there is no way you are going to postpone it. I mean, even if you have it as an understanding that this is what I am going to gain, there is no more postponing then. If that understanding is not there, then like that girl said, I have to postpone it for another 2-3 lifetimes. Because I am very happy with my husband and my child. So I asked her, are you sure your husband and child will want to be your husband and child in the next lifetime also? They didn't say it openly, but both of them shook their heads. I am not surprised knowing the girl. Control freak hai thoda. So I can understand. Okay. Therefore, punarjanmaha na vidyate. This is what is painted. Yes. Sorry, who's calling me now? Now, after this, he is going into a little bit in terms of since he has talked about punarjanma, etc. Little bit idea of the lokas also is giving you. What is creation, etc. Okay, purely dialectical, non-scientific. Okay. See, we have a tendency to take everything as scientific as true and non-scientific as not true. This is not always correct. Because there are a lot of disciplines of knowledge which are not strictly scientific. But they are valid as disciplines of knowledge. Science has certain paradigm. You observe, you draw conclusions, you generalize, try to reproduce results in controlled conditions. This is the paradigm of science, but everything may not be like that. Yeah. All disciplines of knowledge are not like that. That's why scientists get very upset if their project is cancelled because of financial constraints. Finance is non-scientific. But it is valid. It's valid. It's a valid discipline of knowledge. Yeah. Science depends on it because without finance, what experiments are you going to do? Yeah. Music is not scientific. Can you scientifically explain the enjoyment of a raga? Especially Indian music. Western music is a tapestry. You are reproducing something exactly as the same. But Indian music, one raga, 100 different renditions of the same raga. How are you going to make it scientific? How are you going to make it scientific? It doesn't happen like that. So there are so many disciplines. It's not scientific. So this also is a non-scientific presentation of the creation. Sahasra yuga paryantam ahar brahmano viduhu ratrim sahasrantam te aho ratravido janaha. Aho ratravido janaha. Those people who know about day and night. Mithya thing, day and night itself is mithya, okay? They talk about Brahmaji is Hiranyagarbha, okay? In Vedanta they will call it Hiranyagarbha. Puranas is called about as Brahmaji. 1,000 yugas make up Brahmaji's day. Sahasra yuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano viduhu is one day of Brahma. And the night is also 1,000 yugas. Okay. 4 yugas make a kalpa. Kali, Treta, Dwapara and Satya. 4 yugas make one kalpa. So 1,000 means 250 kalpas have to go. Okay. Mind-boggling numbers, okay? Mind-boggling numbers. Yeah. Mind-boggling. 4 kalpas together form something like 360,000 years or something like that. So mind-boggling numbers these are. Okay? That's why it seems there's a story of that. Narada went to Brahmaji to complain some problem in the creation on earth. Says this creation, you have to fine-tune this a little bit. So Brahmaji was having a shower. So the attendant said, please wait, Maharaji. He'll come in a couple of minutes, he'll come here. He's not soaking in a bathtub. He's having a shower. So he'll be out fast. So Brahmaji came out. It must have taken 5 minutes. Okay. So he said to Narada, yes, Narada, you had some issues about the creation. What is it? He says, forget it. Why? A few generations have gone on earth. Problem has solved itself. This is what our justice system and politicians try to do, put everything in cold storage. Even the justice system does that. 70 years to decide on a land dispute. Until there were riots and hundreds died, it was not decided. And they want the whole plan for the vaccination in 4 days' time. 20 years you have not decided whether Salman Khan was driving that vehicle or not. But 4 days you want the whole. Oxygen plants should be set up within 1 week. Hey, what do you think this is? Your interior decoration of a small 2-bedroom flat cannot be done in 1 week. What are you talking about oxygen plants? Natiche. Disconnected with real life. Ivory towers. So be careful when you become scholarly, don't lose touch with reality. Okay? Very important. Whether it's in law or medicine or music or Vedanta or anything, don't lose touch with the reality of what is. It's important. Okay? Yeah. Then, all right. So this is it. So what is this creation? So it is said, when Brahmaji is awake, the creation is on. Like how when you are awake, your personal creation is on. Brahmaji goes to sleep, creation is resolved. Like how when you are asleep, your creation is resolved. Your personality is resolved. No? As far as you are concerned, the world doesn't exist. Yeah. So this is it. So what is this whole thing about creation and destruction you are talking about here? Avyaktad vyaktaya sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame ratriyagame praliyante tatra avyakta sanyake. Simple. What was unmanifest before is becoming manifest at the dawn. And what is manifest is going back to the unmanifest at night. So all that you talk about creation, there is no real creation. There is only a manifestation and an unmanifestation. That's all. Really speaking, there is no creation. Take any one thing in the creation. This kurta that I am wearing. Is it really a creation? If there is a creation, it has to stand apart from the cloth. This is cloth, this is kurta. Cannot happen. From some material, you have created something. Created? No. You have manifested a potential. Why don't you create for me a kurta out of sand or mud? Samji, I can't create a kurta out of mud. I can make a pot for you if you want. Why? Pot is a potential in mud, not kurta. So what you call creation is what? Manifesting a potential. So you're really speaking, creating a non-existent pot or an existent pot? Samji, pot was not there before, therefore non-existent pot. No? Then make a pot that will carry water out of paper. I can't do that. Why? Because the potential has to exist in the pot, in the mud as a potential. Therefore, all that you call creation is only manifesting a potential. It is the same for the whole creation. Avyaktad vyaktaha. From the unmanifest condition to a manifest condition. From the manifest condition to an unmanifest condition.
Swamiji, can you please repeat that again?
Beg your pardon?
Can you please repeat that again?
Yeah, from the unmanifest condition, you go into a manifest condition. And from the manifest condition, you go back into the unmanifest condition. That's all that is there. If you want to put it scientifically, you will say Big Bang and the Big Crunch. That's it. Big Bang is a creation. And when the gravitational forces overcome the explosive forces, the whole thing will start collapsing into itself into super dense material called the black hole. It's not a hole anyway. There is a lot of matter there. Unmanifest. Then when the density becomes too much, a big explosion again manifests. This is another theory. Still has to be completely proved. A lot of experimentation is going on still to prove it completely. Certain facets of it has been proved, that's all. So we put it in simple terms. From the unmanifest it manifests, from the manifest it goes back into unmanifest condition. That's all that what we talk about creation is. And that is why we talk about all the jivas also. What happens to all the jivas who have not gained moksha? At the end of Kali Yuga, bound to be thousands of jivas, millions of them, because huge population. Okay, by the end of Kali Yuga, another 20,000 years, imagine what will be the population of Earth. You may have to spread out to other planets. Okay. So I'm sure there will be a lot of people who will not gain moksha. What will happen to all of them? Potential condition, jivas for the next cycle of creation. Yeah. And what about the denizens? We are talking only of one dimension called earth. What about all the 14 dimensions that are there? Beings and all of them. The beings that are there and all of them. Brahmaloka, okay, let us assume most of them have gained moksha. What about the other lokas? 13 remaining lokas. Next creation, hai na? There will be never a problem of lack of population. Okay? Yeah. It is not a question of one couple populating the earth. No. Yeah. Life can spring up in all sorts of places. Yeah. Yeah. Therefore, manifest, unmanifest, that's all that is there. Tad angvyakta sanyake. भूतग्रामं स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे अवशः पार्थ प्रवन्ति अहरागमे. Repeating the same thing, okay, just for emphasis. He says, Bhutagramam eva ayam Bhutagramam. All these beings also. Okay. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. Come into existence, they'll go out of existence. Ratri agame avashah partha. When it becomes a night, definitely they'll go. Night meaning Brahmaji's night. Okay. End of the kalpas. They will go into unmanifest condition. And next Brahmaji's day, they'll come back into creation. So this creation, manifestation and unmanifestation will keep going on. At the individual level, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Then what can you do? Iva samsare bodhustare. Kripaya pahe paye murare. That's all you can do. What else can you say? And Murari sitting there saying, idiots. I have given this knowledge right at the beginning of creation. I have created teachers also, go learn. Yeah, Murari will say that. Yeah. Barabar hai na? Anyone can get moksha at any lifetime they want. You only have to have that commitment for it, that's it. You need to have a guru, you need to have a commitment, that's it. Once you have that, there is no reason why this lifetime can be the lifetime that you become one with the consciousness, one with Ishvara, and remain as Ananda Sarupaha. Always a fulfilled, joyful being. One limitless entity. No reason why it can't be. Any lifetime can be your last one. But what about the rishis doing all these thousands of years of tapas, etc.? What about them? I have not done any tapas like that. Correct. Neither have I. Okay. Those tapas were for different reasons, number one. Okay. Therefore, various other siddhis. A lot of tapas is available for a lot of other siddhis. Okay. Like if you read Ramayana or something and look at what all the rishis did. Like Vishwamitra created a whole constellation. Yeah. Out of just mind stuff. The material for the whole that creation was only his mind. And the energy pattern that was there in the creation. Whole constellation he created. Tapa Shakti. So the tapas you do is meant for other things, number one. Number two, the tapas is also to understand the Ishvara's teaching that is given as a word or as a sound. That's enough. That's all that the teaching was available. They were all mantra drishtas. Mantras that were revealed at the beginning of creation. You have to connect with that and get it. Shabda Pramana is already said. Shabda Pramana is already given at the beginning of creation. How are your mind going to connect up with that? Then you can do that. You can do that. For that you need thousands of years of tapas, okay? Thousands of years of... But we are not in that. Thanks to the ancient masters, the rishis, Vyasa, Shankara, etc., we have the teaching available. It is not like one word is given to you. Jnanam, go, work on it and gain it. In fact, in Taittiriya there is a story of a rishi called Bhrigu. He approached his father Varuna, the lord of the oceans, okay? Varuna. And he approaches them. He approaches his father. And he says, Adihi Devo Brahmeti. Oh Lord, please teach me about Brahman. And the father must have been old school. Old school among old school, okay? He says, Yeto imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, preti abhisham vishanti iti, tad brahma iti vijijnasva, tapo brahma iti. Straight. That from which everything has come, that into which everything is resolved, that by which everything is sustained. Know that as Brahman. How will I know that? Tapo brahmeti. Let tapas be your Brahman. So if you are given a teaching like that, and you have to understand yourself as pure consciousness, etc., and that consciousness is the basis for the whole world, and the world is mithya, I am Satyam. If you have to understand all that, then you need a lot of tapas. But here it is not like that. Everything is being detailed explanation. You all are getting it, I have got it. My teacher had got it. Parampara goes on. Because of the parampara, we don't need that much of tapas. So don't look down upon yourself saying, I must need a lot of tapas. Thoda japa dhyanam, etc. is good to have. So that your mind is okay. Life of Karma Yoga, some japa dhyanam, etc. So that the mind is available. Learn to have focus. Learn to give up effort. Know when to use your will. Know when to drop your will. Yeah, know when to use your will. Sometimes you have to use your will, that's tough. And you have to know when to drop it. The dropping of the will is what is known as surrender in Bhakti literature. Sharanagati, surrender, etc. is this, dropping of your will. So, if you know all that, enough tapas. You think it is easy to know when to use your will and when to drop it? Try dropping your will in an activity and see what happens. You may be amazed. Yeah. You may be amazed. Yeah, at what happens. Yeah. Okay. All right, this is as far as the creation goes. Then he is coming to the main thing. He says, Paraha tasmatu bhavo anyaha avyaktat vyaktiyat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. This is the real one. What is that? He says, Tasmatu paraha. From this manifestation and unmanifestation that you are seeing, okay, from this manifest unmanifest game that is going on, okay, from this game that is going on, there is another avyaktaha. Paraha twan. Avyaktat sanatanaha. Compared to all this manifestation and unmanifestation, the one that is free from that game, what is that? Yes, sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. When everything is resolved, this is not resolved. It remains as a pure consciousness. The whole creation is manifest. Unmanifest potential condition. That potential condition is what you call Ishvara. That potential condition is like what happens when you are in deep sleep, pure Maya Shakti. Little bit elaboration now on that potential condition. Okay? Because that is Maya Shakti, isn't it? Like in deep sleep, what? Where are you in deep sleep? You are not resolved into pure consciousness, because then you would come out with the knowledge I am consciousness. That doesn't happen. There is ignorance there, avidya is there. So similarly, when the creation is resolved into the consciousness, all right, but with Maya. Total Maya, total avidya is called Maya. And in total avidya, it is not that there is more avidya. Then Ishvara would be more ignorant than me. There is always a qualitative change that happens between individual and total. Since the total has to include everything into it, it includes both the ignorance that you have at the individual level and all knowledge that you have at the total level. Because when you study the creation, you find there is so much of knowledge in it. You study anything in creation, anything you take it up. Metal, a piece of metal. Okay? Iron, found in nature. In the structure, this, that, function. There is so much of knowledge hidden in this bit of iron. Where did that knowledge come from? Whatever is there in the manifestation should be there in the unmanifestation. Unmanifest. The texture of the cloth is the texture of the kurta. The weight of the cloth is the weight of the kurta. The fall of the cloth is the fall of the kurta. Isn't it? So all that is there in the manifestation should be there in the unmanifest condition. Therefore, all knowledge is there in the unmanifest condition. So even though we say it is resolved into consciousness along with Maya, Maya is not the ignorance that you experience in deep sleep state. It is much more than that. Even in deep sleep, do you get up in the morning with a fresh slate and look at your partner and say, who are you? And your child runs into the room and say, Arapada, who is this kid walking in? You don't say that. You walk into the kid's room, the kid doesn't say, who are you? Well, you got all the knowledge that you went into sleep with, is there when you come out of it. No? So even in deep sleep, your ignorance, your unmanifest condition, all the knowledge is there as a potential, waiting to be manifested. Your knowledge, your memories, your likes and dislikes, look at what all is there. You don't go to sleep liking coffee and get up in the morning hating coffee. You don't get up like that. Yeah, that can happen over time. Yeah, some likes, dislikes keep changing. But it's always like that. So given that, in the potential condition also, Maya Shakti has got all knowledge in it. All knowledge. Knowledge of everything that's there in the creation. That's what you call all knowledge. Yeah. All the knowledge of physics, chemistry, mathematics, languages, biology. Every branch you can think of, it is there. And other than the whole thing is what? That pure consciousness. That is the same. That doesn't undergo manifestation and unmanifest condition. Look at your own experience of deep sleep. Were you there in deep sleep or were you not there in deep sleep? You can't say, I was not there. If you were not there, how did you get up in the morning and say, I slept? Did you get up in the morning and make an inference? Between this time and this time, I did not know anything, therefore, I must have been asleep. Is that a presumption like that? Or is it memory? Arey, I slept well, yaar, maja aaya. Temperatures cooled down with the rain and everything. Aha, maja aaya. Great sleep I had. It's a memory. But your mind was not functioning for you to say it. But the consciousness was witnessing the sleeping mind. And when you get up, the consciousness of the mind identifies itself with each other and say, I slept. So even in the individual case, you, the consciousness, was always there. And when only the consciousness is there, it is nothing but Ananda. Is sleep a happy experience or an unhappy experience? Yeah. For everyone, sleep is a happy experience. No? Even those people who have FOMO. What is FOMO? This is all a language I pick up from the youngsters, okay? Fear of missing out. Therefore, always want to keep awake and see what's going on in the social media, this, that. A time will come and they will say, forget all that and go to sleep. Nothing gives you Ananda like that. Yeah. A time will come when you say, enough to all experiences, let me sleep. Anando. The preparation for going into sleep state and the reluctance to come out of it shows it's Ananda, happy state. That's why the people are smart. They created your alarms with snooze button on. After snoozing for 3 times, then you get up. So that Ananda Swarupa is what I am, and that is out free from this game of manifestation and unmanifestation. It is not conditioned by time, therefore it's always there as I. Think this over. Okay, think it over. About this fact about sleep and the totality also, the same thing. It's free from manifestation and unmanifestation. And if there are any doubts, etc., next class we will see that. Okay, yeah. Next class.
Swamiji, I had a question.
Yeah, what is that? Tell me. Shoot.
Vantika.
Yeah, shoot.
So, the way you explain consciousness in deep sleep, to some extent that is experience. You can experience it. Experience it.
You don't really experience with a subject-object relationship. You experience it as I. Huh.
But in a difficult to describe manner, you can experience it.
Yeah, correct.
So is that how you experience Ishvara also, or it's too much of?
See, sleep experience everyone knows.
Yes.
It's the absence of all experiences.
Yes.
It is where you are not conscious about your functioning in self itself. But that is not how you recognize consciousness. No. A recognition of consciousness right now in your waking state. It is not in deep sleep state. You don't need samadhi for it. You can have samadhi, but you don't need it. Without that also you can recognize it.
So is there a practice experience involved in recognizing, or it is?
You can't experience yourself. You cannot be the subject and object both. So it says consciousness is never an object of experience. In that sense. Though you can have a state of samadhi where all other things are knocked off. Only you are there. Which they say is different from sleep. Can be. Or you may slip into andha samadhi, completely ignorant also. Yeah. Most people go into andha samadhi. and then they start trying to make the connections when they are out of that samadhi. Coma is a deeper state of sleep only. Yeah. Or it can be an in-between state sometimes, because sometimes in coma also people hear things and all that. Therefore, then you will describe it as what the Mandukya Upanishad says as Ubhayata Prajnam, in-between state. So both ways it can be. Yeah.
Swamiji.
Yeah.
Swamiji.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
So earlier we studied that this world as it exists, it's mithya and it is a manifestation of Ishvara.
Yeah.
That is pure consciousness. Now we are saying that manifestation and unmanifestation, that thing is not connected with the pure, I mean, it is not affected is what you mean.
Yeah, it's not affecting pure consciousness. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why that Maya comes in between to help the manifestation. Otherwise, manifestation itself will not be possible. Because unchanging, na? Not changing. Yeah. Good question. Yeah. So more of it, we'll see. Think it over. Next class we can see what's there. Okay. Good place to stop. Om Tat Sat. I enjoyed being with all of you.